Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel The Real Programmers. In this video, I'm going to talk about linear regression. In this video, I will talk about simple linear regression, multiple linear regression, loss function, which is also called cost function. Then I will cover two most commonly used methods used for optimizing cost functions. The first one is ordinary least squares method and the second one is gradient descent. I will also go through another variant of gradient descent, which is stochastic gradient descent. Conceptually, we can classify machine learning algorithms into two main categories, linear and non-linear. Today in this video, we will be learning about linear regression, which is a linear machine learning algorithm. Let's dig deeper to know more about linear machine learning algorithms. Linear machine learning algorithms operate under the assumption of a linear relationship between the features and the target variable. Features are the input variables and target variable is the output variable that we aim to predict. Some examples of linear algorithms are linear regression, logistic regression, and linear support vector machines. Linear regression and logistic regression are the two most common linear machine learning algorithms. Linear regression is used when the target is a numerical value and logistic regression is used when the target is a categorical value, basically a classification task. As an example, house price prediction is a linear regression task because we have to predict the price of houses, which is a numerical value. And spam email classification is a logistic regression task where we have to classify the incoming email between two classes, spam and non-spam. Next, I'll discuss about linear regression in detail. Linear regression can be defined as a statistical technique for modeling the relationship between a dependent variable and one or more independent variables by fitting a linear equation to the observed data. The objective is to determine the best fitting line, which is also called the regression line. In other words, linear regression utilizes a linear equation in the form of y equal to b0 plus b1x, where y is the dependent variable, the variable that we want to predict, x is the independent variable, the variable used to make predictions, b0 is the intercept, the point where the regression line crosses the y-axis, and b1 is the slope, which indicates the change in y for 1 unit change in x. Don't worry if you were not able to follow everything I said. The equation will be explained in detail in the upcoming slides. Now let's get a clear idea of what is a linear regression with the help of an example and graph. Let's break it down into simpler terms. You can see in the graph these red circles are the actual values, the green line is the predicted value, and b0 is the intercept of the straight line in green color, which is the predicted value when x is equal to 0. b1 is the slope of the straight line, where the slope represents the change in the dependent variable, that is speed, for each unit change in the independent variable, that is the weight. Imagine you are trying to predict something like how fast a car can go based on certain factors. In machine learning, we use algorithms to make these predictions. Now, when I say linear, think of a straight line on a graph. The idea is that these algorithms assume the way input factors like car's weight relate to output, in this case the speed, is a linear relation. So it's like saying the increase in the car's weight would cause a predictable and straight line increase in its speed. If you plot these factors on a graph, the relationship forms a straight line. In simpler terms, linear machine learning algorithms work under the assumption that changes in the input factors lead to changes in the output in a straightforward and a predictable way, just like a straight line on a graph. In a linear relationship, the change in the target variable is proportional to the change in the input features. That means whenever the weight is changed, speed will also change. Further, depending on the number of input features, linear regression can be categorized into simple linear regression when there is a single input attribute x, and multiple linear regression when there are multiple input attributes like x1, x2, x3, and so on. As you can see on the slide how the equation changes accordingly. Now I will explain the linear regression equation in more detail. In the mathematical formula of the linear regression, we try to find the best fit line to minimize the error. Error is nothing but the difference between the predicted values and the actual values. The goal of the linear regression is to minimize this error using something called loss function or cost function, which I will explain in the next slide. The mathematical formula of the linear regression can be written as y equal to b0 plus b1x plus e, where b0 and b1 are known as the regression coefficients or parameters. b0 is the intercept of the regression line, that is the predicted value when x is equal to 0. b1 is the slope of the regression line. E is the error term, also known as the residual errors. In other words, the part of y that could not be explained by the regression model. The figure illustrates the linear regression model where the best fit regression line is in yellow. The intercept b0 and the slope b1 are shown in blue. The error term e are represented by vertical red lines. In linear regression, a loss function serves as a critical tool for evaluating how well a model fits the data and guides the model's training process. By minimizing the loss function, the model tries to achieve the best possible alignment with the underlying data. Linear regression tries to fit a straight line to the set of data points. The loss function measures how far each data point falls from the fitted line. Smaller distances indicate better alignment, translating to lower loss values. Conversely, a larger distances between the points and the line signify higher loss values, representing poorer model fit. Different loss functions can be used in regression, and the choice depends on the factors such as problem domain, the characteristics of the data, and the desired properties of the model. Some commonly used loss functions are mean squared error, which calculates the average square differences between the predicted values and the true value. It penalizes larger errors more heavily due to squaring. Mean absolute error, which calculates the average absolute difference between the predicted values and the true values. It provides a more linear penalty compared to mean squared error and is less sensitive to outliers. Root mean squared error is the square root of mean squared errors and provides a measure of the average magnitude of the errors in the predicted values. Sum of squared errors, which is sum of squares of all the error terms. Ordinary least squares regression is the most common analytical method for simple linear regression. In simple linear regression, the ordinary least squares optimization method aims to find the line that best fits the set of data points by minimizing the sum of squared residuals. Here is the breakdown of the process. First, assuming that there is a linear relationship between the independent variables and the dependent variables, we define the model by starting with a linear equation y equal to b0 plus b1x plus e, which we already have from the theoretical regression where yi is the dependent variable for the ith observation values that we want to predict. b0 and b1 are the regression coefficients that we want to calculate. Xi is the independent variable for the ith observation. Ei is the error term for the ith observation, which accounts for unexplained variability. Then we calculate the residuals for each data point. The difference between the actual values and the predicted values based on the current b0 and b1 values gives us the residuals. Then we square each residual value to focus on larger errors and avoid cancelling out positive and negative differences. In the next step, we add up the squared residuals of all the data points, and this is the quantity that we aim to minimize. Solving this minimization problem leads to the equations for b0 and b1. b1, which is also the slope of the linear equation, is calculated as the sum of products of the deviations from the mean of x and y divided by the sum of squared deviations from the mean of x. And b0, which is also the intercept in the linear equation we assumed, is calculated as the mean of y minus the product of previously calculated b1 and mean of x. In simple linear regression, while ordinary least squares offer a fast and analytical solution, gradient descent provides a more flexible and iterative approach to minimize the loss function, especially for complex scenarios. Here are the steps involved in gradient descent for linear regression. First, we start with defining the model and the cost function. For linear regression, we start with the linear equation y equal to b0 plus b1x plus e, where y is the predicted value, x is the independent variable, b0 is the intercept, b1 is the slope, and e is the error term. Then we define a cost function to measure the model's error. Typical choice include mean squared error or mean absolute error. The cost function calculates the average error between predicted values and the actual values across all the data points. Then we initialize the parameters. We choose initial values for the model parameters b0 and b1. This can be random values or based on some prior knowledge. Then we iterate and update the parameters. For each iteration, we calculate the derivative of the cost function with respect to each parameter b0 and b1. and these derivatives indicate the direction and magnitude of error change for each parameter. We use this derivative to update the parameters using a learning rate. The learning rate controls how large the steps are in the direction of the gradient. Then we update the parameters according to the formula. Parameter is equal to parameter minus learning rate multiplied by the derivative with respect to the parameter. Then we repeat step number 3 until a stopping criteria is met, such as reaching a maximum number of iterations or achieving a minimum cost value, or when we see little change in the cost functions. Then we interpret the results. The final values of B0 and B1 represent the estimated intercept and slope of the best fit line for the data. We then analyze the final cost value to understand how well the model fits the data. You should consider using gradient descent when OLS assumptions are violated, like non-normal errors, when dealing with more complex models like polynomial regression, or when flexibility in handling different loss function is needed. Stochastic gradient descent is a variation of gradient descent widely used to optimize linear regression models. Gradient descent can be slow when running on huge datasets, because one iteration of gradient descent process requires a prediction for each occurrence in the training dataset. It can be time consuming when there are millions of cases. When dealing with vast amounts of data, we can utilize a variant of gradient descent known as stochastic gradient descent. The process of stochastic gradient descent is exactly same as that of gradient descent, with only one difference in the iterative process. Instead of using the entire dataset, stochastic gradient descent randomly samples a small subset of data points, which we call mini batch, in each iteration to estimate the gradient, and this makes it faster and more scalable for larger datasets. Some of the advantages of stochastic gradient descent are scalability, means it works efficiently with large datasets due to its use of mini batches. It is also memory efficient, requires less memory to store and process gradients as compared with the classic gradient descent. Faster convergence. Often stochastic gradient descent converges faster than classic gradient descent for large datasets. Robustness. It can be more robust to noise in the data due to its stochastic nature. There are some disadvantages of using stochastic gradient descent. We may see some noisier updates when using mini batches as compared to the full gradient, and it may potentially cause fluctuations during the training process. We may also require tuning the learning rate and the mini batch size, which can be challenging sometimes. Thanks for watching. Please share your feedback and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. See you next time.